Welcome back to Amber's Narrative. I'm your host, Amber Janelle. Whew, it feels a little strange. It feels a little weird to be saying this again. And before y'all get on me, I know, I have some explaining to do. Where have I been? And I'm going to tell y'all, just sit tight. For those of you who are new here, though, this is Amber's Narrative Podcast, and I'm Amber Janelle. Amber's Narrative was created because I believe that God gave me some things to say and some things to share, and there's some people out here that need to hear it. So, let's get into today's episode. Where has my behind been? Okay. That's a loaded question, but I was in a deep, nasty, funky funk, y'all. I had spiraled into some really, really dark, deep depression that I did not know how to get my butt up out of. It got so bad to the point where I started deleting podcast episodes that I had already published. Not just ones that I published, but ones that I had recorded to publish. And I even attempted to delete this podcast, y'all. But for whatever reason, you know what? Scratch that. I'm not going to say for whatever reason. I know the reason. I couldn't delete this podcast because I wasn't meant to. And I was trying to walk away from an assignment that was given to me because I was doubting that assignment. I was doubting my voice. And I kept saying, God, please give me clarity. Please show me what I need to be doing. When he had already showed me a nice amount of what I needed to be doing, I just was doubting myself. I had talked about this in the past. I said that we oftentimes give the enemy too much credit. And I'm not going to go into a religious spiel because the enemy could be a lot of different things to certain people. But I realize now that I had been my own worst enemy. I had been my own op. I had been my own biggest hater by feeding into the negative self-talk that I had going on. Feeding into not believing in myself and doubting that I could do big things and that God would do big things, that God would bless me, that doors would open, that the vision and the dreams that I have for myself were way too big and unreachable, right? I started doing podcasting about 3 years ago and content creation a little over 4 years ago. And I've stopped and started so many times. And a lot of it had to do with doubt. A lot of it had to do with feeling like I was doing too much. And that stems from something a little bit deeper. Because at a very young age, I was told that I be talking too much, y'all. That I had too much to say, that I didn't know how to stay in a child's place. And so I started telling myself, girl, you getting on this microphone telling them your business. You are ranting. You are oversharing. You are complaining. And nobody want to hear what you done been through. Nobody want to hear your thoughts. Like, those are the negative things that I was telling myself. And I started absorbing it, right? And I started forgetting slowly but surely who I was. One of my favorite affirmations is, you are beautifully and wonderfully made. And I say that because I have a beautiful mind. I have a beautiful heart. I have a strong moral compass. I'm that girl. But somewhere along the line, I started tricking myself on my spot. I started forgetting that God created me to be a dope individual. And even though I've experienced some stuff, I really feel like I experienced that stuff because it helped mold me into who I am. But it's hard to stand in that when you're doubting who you are, when you're forgetting. But I ain't gonna beat myself up for forgetting or falling into that dark funk. But just know that she's back. And not only is she back, she's evolving, she's growing, she's improving, and she's slowly but surely chipping at some of those doubts, some of those fear. I'm re-establishing my beliefs in self, right? And I got a long way to go. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm hoping that y'all willing to be on this journey with me. I'm hoping that y'all willing to walk with me as I walk into my greatness, walk into who God created me to be. And in some moments that can be real confusing, because I can't tell you how many times I cried and prayed to God and asked him to show me what I needed to do, to show me what my purpose was, to give me clarity. And sometimes God give us answers and we ignore them. Because I truly do believe in my heart that a part of my clarity and a part of my understanding and a part of my purpose is this podcast. And I try to really run far, far away from this because I didn't know how I would be received. And I was extremely fearful of how I would be received. But now I'm not afraid anymore. And I'm standing in my truth. I'm standing in my power. And I hope that y'all are ready for me because I'm not holding back. I'm not letting off the gas. I have so much to share and so many more episodes to share them with y'all. But I also want to just be honest. There may be some things that I say that some people don't agree with. There may be some people who I'm just not for. But I realized, and it hit me like a ton of bricks when I realized this, but everybody ain't gonna like you. And you don't have to bend over backwards to try to get everybody to like you. You're not for everybody. I'm saying this to y'all because I had to say it to me. But it's gonna be some people that you're not for. You know, you ain't gonna be their cup of tea, and they still gonna try to drink it. But that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. And as devastating as it is to realize that I had been in relationships and in friendships with people that really didn't like me. And I really tried to convert and conform. And I'm now walking into a season of being a recovering people pleaser and learning how to regulate my emotions and learning that I'm not too much and I don't have to be small. It was just people around me that wanted me to be small because God made my energy and my personality so big. God made my heart so big that for some people that may be too much, but that's not on me. Right? And so with all of that being said, y'all, you are not too much. You are more than enough for God, and you are more than enough for the people that God placed in your life. And ending some of them relationships gonna hurt, but a lot of times it happens organically. We be fearful of relationships ending and being alone and things like that. But when you start standing in your power, the people that's meant to support you and standing in your power, God gonna send them your way. God gonna send them your way. And until then, know that you just standing in your power is enough as well. So, with that being said, y'all, welcome to Amber's Narrative. Get ready to have some really deep-rooted conversations, and I have so much more to unpack. So, I will be talking to y'all real soon. Thank you for sitting with me in my comeback to Amber's Narrative Podcast. Peace and love.